Hey adventurers, welcome to another episode of In Skyrim. Oh my god. This guy, Red Nose.
Need something.
You're new in town?
Just got off the ship, as it were, fresh as a flounder. I came here to pen my next great novel, and while I'm here, keep an eye out for talent.
Talent?
Of course, talent comes in many forms, and they never specified what kind. Why, just the other day, I had a delightful conversation with a high elf named Nitriel. I think she fancies writers.
She fancies gossip. But she might like you too.
An elf after my own heart. Writers and gossips are one and the same. Everything we hear, everyone we meet, finds their way into a story. And in the end, most of it is lies.
What's the new novel about?
Would you believe me if I said I hadn't decided? Inspiration is funny that way. There's so many stories to tell just in solitude alone. You hear about pirate tales, shadowy dealings, and news of war. I even heard a tale about a horker so large it wrecked a ship somewhere on the North Shore. But just because you have a story doesn't mean I'm the right voice to tell it. When it comes, I'll know.
Okay.
Safe travels.
Right. What about this guy?
Never thought I'd miss turtle stew. On the sea, sometimes it was the only fresh meat we came across.
Need something?
The winking skeever. Beds here sure beat the hammocks out at sea.
You were at Helgen?
And what should I do with it? Work the fields like some common harridan? I know my worth. And for one with my stock, there are only two sensible ways to make a fortune. By marriage, or by blood. And unless some wealthy uncle shows up with gold spilling out of his pockets, the only viable alternative is marriage.
Will it be difficult for you to find a spouse?
What's that supposed to mean? Someone like me? You mean someone who is young, highborn, and educated? I am affable. I am sweet. I am the most devastating beauty Skyrim has witnessed in 5 millennia.
Okay.
And you are evidently blind.
And a million kegs of solitude wine. There was Barney the Bold from Hjalmar
Okay.
and Alice McGee from
Fine.
Then Cregan Ledal from the Riften Canal was the skipper on the old Sea Hawk. We were far from the coast in the cold sea.
Okay. Where is this guy? There he is.
Well met. Alright then.
Try to be careful.
So the book he wrote that he said they criticized it as it was written by a blacksmith is here at this blacksmith place. The stone hand. Board guy. The stone hand. Okay, now we have the quest. Find the author. Yeah, that's how you proceed. Right.
Greetings.
The book you wrote, The Stone Hand, I've read it.
I see. You must have been curious to seek out one man's trifle in a world full of them. I almost feel the need to apologize for wasting your time.
It was well written, and Adanato was wrong to dismiss it.
I thank you for the compliment. Sometimes I wonder if that's enough. If just one person enjoyed my work, maybe it was all worth it.
Maybe.
Maybe then it all had purpose. Even as my voice was reduced to a whisper, there was someone out there bothering to listen.
Good or bad, the critique was odd. Blacksmiths are simple. Your book was not.
I admit, I never thought of that. Is it possible he never bothered to read it? I wonder if I should get a second opinion. But I don't know if my heart could take another rejection.
Yeah. I'll find someone who would give it an honest critique.
I almost don't want to open that door, give in to hope. But if you're willing to do this, I can keep my eyes to the east. You may find someone back west, where the story was conceived. Back in solitude.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Find the gossip Nithriel.
I applaud anyone who assists the cause.
If you've come to file another complaint, I won't deign to hear it. If my presence is that much of an issue, tell it to the steward. Everyone whines and moans about how loosely I flap my tongue, as if Thane Erikur's eccentric love life were not a matter of public knowledge. And for the last time, I am not a Thalmor agent here to destabilize the court. You're thinking of my terribly unfashionable twin sister, Mithril. My name, on the other hand, is Nithriel, and I am both an attendant of the court and someone worthy of your confidence.
Sure. Would you describe yourself as a gossip?
I'm not a gossiper, just gregarious. I don't embellish. It's just the facts don't convey the spirit of what really happens. I'm not high maintenance, just high-minded. When I petition for funding for a party or festival, or new robes for the Thanes, I do so with purpose. Nobles cannot simply skulk around like common thieves. We must present ourselves in a fashion befitting our rank.
I don't know why people think you're a gossip then.
Oh, you jest. But what I do isn't overstating the facts. It's investigating them. If, every night, strangers walk in and out of a large house with no windows, I don't need to enter the premises to tell you it's a brothel. Nor do I need more than one glance at you to see you're an adventurer with a hunger for battle and the flesh. Tell me, what sort of person does the stranger fancy?
Strong and valorous.
Let me see. Who do I know that's available? Are you opposed to marriage outside your race? On the other hand, I suppose they might be.
Wondering if you know anyone who might critique a book.
Well, yes. You came to the right elf. I know everything about everyone. In fact, you're quite the popular topic these days. So, before I share, I need to know if all the rumors regarding you and that Hagraven are true. After all, I would never spread such lies without first confronting the person in question.
I've killed a few Hagravens.
As your newest and dearest confidant, I'm glad to hear it. They are wicked creatures and deserve no mercy. Now, I don't want to alarm you, but this may give credence to that other rumor that you have difficulties controlling your rage. One person even accused you of murdering an elderly woman and calling her a Hagraven. A rumor I squashed immediately on your behalf.
Can you tell me about the book critic?
Gladly. I won't reveal my sources, but from what I hear, a certain publisher has been struggling to stay afloat. In a last-ditch effort, they've sent their minions all over Skyrim in search of the next great writer. One of these critics has limited his search to the winking skeever. Oh, but that's not the scandalous part, for it's not the drinking, but the fact that our critic bears a striking resemblance to one Minette Vinius. A bold person might accuse this critic of bearing an illegitimate child, especially given how gregarious she is compared to her so-called father. Of course, I would never levy such an accusation without proof.
How will I know him?
Oh, it's rather simple. He always sits at the bar on the furthest stool to the right. They say it offers him the best view. You take the seat, and I'm sure he'll come to you.
Okay then.
Warm the blood.
This is what you do all day? Walking around, randomly doing other people's errands?
It sure is. Yeah.
I suppose you're onto something.
I welcome the company. It makes traveling better.
Well, I suppose I feel the same. I'm Drow. We in the Underdark must deal harshness, or otherwise receive it.
You don't have to keep your guard up around me. Relax.
I admire people with standards. It's always nice to see. Do you see something you desire?
I got some armor.
In what skimpy outfit will you have me wear this time,
That's right, she had that. Okay.
Surfacers can be so stupid.
What can I do for you, friend? I'll be sure to put it to good use.
You can have this. Right.
Good.
Okay.
Welcome to the Winking Skeever. Take a load off and enjoy the atmosphere.
Oh, look at the colors.
Now we can take a load off. I'm in the mood for a song, a drink, and a lady.
Bloody harkers! I told Corpulus I like that stool the best. Has the best view of all the mates that stroll through here. I'd arm wrestle you for it, but something tells me that would leave me sore, tired, and possibly bedridden. What good would that stool do me then?
Let's sate that appetite.
The name's Flint, by the way. Author, publisher, and admirer of the female form.
Never thought I'd miss turtle stew.
Actually, I'm here to see you about something.
Sometimes it was the only fresh
It's
thing
not
that
to have me sign your book, is it? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd be glad to, so long as it's one of my later works. But there's plenty of time for that later. Besides, you ought to at least buy me a drink before you start making demands.
Have I read any of your works?
You might have. I've written countless epics, poems, and tales of heroism. Still, I'm best known for a terrible piece of tripe I wrote about 7 years ago, called The Duke of Beards.
The Duke of Beards?
It was a book about a legendary barber. And bloody awful, which is saying something for a work of non-fiction. In fact, I once set out to burn every copy in Skyrim, but the thing took on a life of its own. Turns out that piece of rubbish was the best thing that ever happened to me. The fame I received from that book gave me the coin and the authority to write what I love. They say one man's trash is another man's treasure, but for me, they were one and the same.
Speaking of books, what do you think of this one?
Let's see. Now, if I'm being perfectly honest, I would say this is apprentice-level work. But that being said, you've got talent. Of course. I'm assuming this manuscript is yours.
It's written by a friend.
Of course. I can't tell you how many writers hand me manuscripts on behalf of their friends in hopes of getting an honest critique. But regardless of his identity, one thing that's certain is that your friend lacks conviction. I can see it as plain as day on the page.
So no chance to be published?
I didn't say that. Although your friend may not like what I'm about to say. With a little polish we can turn this into a seller. It may not give him the acclaim he seeks, but it will put food on the table. The problem with young artists is that they're a bit too attached to their integrity. He may not go for it. On the other hand, better to be a mediocre artist than a starving one, and it'll give him the leverage to write something of substance.
What sort of changes are we talking about here?
Well, for starters, we need to dumb it down a bit. A few cosmetic changes here and there ought to do it. We also need to make these paragraphs cleaner. They lack direction. It's something that can be fixed easily enough. Lastly, the main character's name. I can tell our friend hasn't spent much time around orcs. I think Bogach is a female name.
I think the name's fine. Fine.
Right. Jaspar's work. Well, I suppose if you don't mind, other orcs won't either. Bogach it is. All that's left now is to give my suggestions to your friend. If the final copy passes muster, I'd be more than happy to have it published.
Okay.
Safe travels.
Greetings. Until next time.
Okay.
Well met.
I found a publisher. He just needs a few changes.
By Debella, you mean someone wants to publish my book? Wait, what do you mean by changes?
Just hang on a minute.
Hearken to a word of voice. Skill from a doorknob.
Die by my hand!
Okay.
Greetings. By Debella, you mean someone wants to publish my book?
He
Wait.
says it's...
If it's a mediocre piece, then I would be crazy to put it out there, right? But I don't know anymore. I used to mock Alexander Simon. Maybe it was just fear. If you're an unknown writer, an aspiring writer, you can never be a bad one. Writers like Simon are brave, not afraid to be wrong or foolish. They aren't afraid to grow. In fact, this publisher you met, he isn't wrong. I look back at my old drafts, and I hardly recognize the words.
What do you mean?
The inspiration was there, but not the voice to shape its thoughts. Yet now, I feel confident I can make it heard. I can tell the story of this orc the way it was meant to be written. If you'll give me a few days to rewrite it, I'll have something for you. Unless there was something else you wanted to add.
That's your novel. I'll leave it to you.
Alright. I'll do my best to reward your faith.
Right.
Then.
Okay. While we're waiting for that, do another quest.
Good Lord, didn't anybody here subscribe?